New at 10 tonight, with concerns of the coronavirus still looming and schools across Alabama considering starting back up in the fall, pediatricians are worried about the lack of patients coming in for regular immunizations. Ileana Capian joins us live in studio to tell us more. Ileana, good evening.
Good evening, Paige. That's right. Pediatricians are concerned because children have a set of immunization plans to follow from the time they are 2 weeks old until they are adults. But COVID-19 has lowered the number of patients coming in for vaccines across the country, which could cause problems if schools resume in the fall.
There's still more we don't know than we do know, but what we do know is that there are a lot of asymptomatic cases, so we really have no idea how many pediatric cases there are.
Dothan Pediatrics has tested over 500 children for COVID-19, but only 20 have come out positive. Most children show respiratory symptoms and fevers, but there are far more asymptomatic children that could cause issues for when school resumes.
The biggest concern with school coming back, or any time that there are groups of children together, or anybody together for that matter, would be the increased likelihood of spread.
According to Barron, pediatricians have seen as much as a 50% drop in immunization for children in certain parts of the country. He urges parents to continue regularly scheduled vaccines.
You know, I think in terms of the flu vaccine, it is definitely recommended. I mean, it was recommended before the coronavirus, and it's certainly recommended now. We don't want to get into a situation where preventable diseases that can be prevented by vaccines become prevalent again because people are not being vaccinated.
Barron says we've come far in preventing some of these illnesses. He would hate to see society regress and not only be dealing with coronavirus, but other things as well.
All pediatricians and pediatric offices are doing a good job of trying to make things as safe as they can so that parents will feel safe and will feel like, you know, they can go and get their children's immunizations with a minimum of risk of catching the coronavirus or something else.
Dr. Barron says there's an entire generation of patients that have never had to deal with a chickenpox or measles outbreak. And because of that, doctors warn that they may not be realizing the severity of these illnesses and others if children do not keep up with their vaccinations.
All right, Ileana, very important information there tonight. Thank you very much. Alabama seeing another spike in COVID-19 cases. The state has confirmed over 31,000 cases and 879 deaths since the pandemic. Around 19,000 people have presumably recovered, bringing the number of active cases down to just under 12,000. While there was a downward trend for hospitalizations and new coronavirus cases over the weekend, these numbers have surged back up. Houston County is now set to overtake Pike County in the number of confirmed cases, and Henry County now has